What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout, and I am finally back with Masters content. It's been going a bit slow, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not dumping it, but the amount of work is overwhelming at the moment, so please stick with me. And today we are finally talking about the massive rules update. I've been getting questions. Damien, what do you think of the rules update? Is the game dead? Is this the worst thing ever? Well, yes and no. One of them is correct, but let's just dive into this, okay? But before we begin this video, huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our lovely patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons that buy us coffee. They keep this crazy content grind going. We're uploading double and shorts and everything, like absolutely insane. And guys, thanks a lot for your support. If you wish to join the Coffee Club, link to our Patreon is in the description below. And I think that's about everything. Roll the video! As with all of our videos, let's start with the breakdown. So, Masters got the biggest rules update ever. We now have energy markers in the game, we have new Mulligan rules, and the Z deck has expanded to 10 cards, from 7 to 10. So we're gonna go over all of these, and then we'll just wrap it up with a summary. Let's go. First change. God damn it. Energy marker is in the game. Shit. We're fucked now. All of us. So, for all of you coming in from Fusion World, Masters didn't have an energy marker. Masters should never have an energy marker. But now if you go second, just like in Fusion World, you get energy marker. And going second in Masters was a problem, because if you go second you lose 90% of the time. It's because our effects counted the amount of energy and stuff like that. It's a lot different than in Fusion World when it comes to dropping your big bombs. You're not gonna play an 8 cost Broly on 8 energy, you're gonna play him for free. Like on turn 3 you're gonna slam him for 2 energy and just hit your opponent. So, yeah, going second will feel better, but I'm really concerned about this. Here's why. All form of free or cheap ramp in the game historically has been banned, limited, or errated. We can't have a free ramp in Masters. It's an awful idea. It's really bad. So, Fusion World crowd, think of it like this. You play Broly not on turn 8, you play him on turn 2. And sometimes you just drop him, you randomly drop him on turn 1. Like in Masters. Oh, big body, poof, turn 1, let's go. So, yeah, that's one of the things that you can do. And if you take a look at this, we have a couple of cards here. So, just to give you context, Trunks restood an energy to active mode when you comboed with him. You can run 4 of them. Restand an energy during your turn. Android 21 ramped you for 1. Objection costs 2 and ramps you 1 energy. This is broken. And ramps you an energy from your hand. It's not like Destructive Strength. From that you lose a card from hand. That's broken here. The Goku can just go to free energy immediately, like this deck is insane. The Beerus is also just absolutely busted. So these things broke the game. Now imagine, and these are all locked to blue. Now just imagine what energy marker is going to do. If you're still not convinced for whatever reason, let's take a look at some leaders, right? Beerus ramps on turn 1 now. So he permanently gains an energy on turn 1 immediately. This is a deck that's exceptionally dangerous when it starts ramping. Really dangerous. Especially because, like, worst case he can just step 16 and win the game. Which he can do very often. Otherwise he just keeps dumping huge bodies. And now there's no Android 21 to fight him. If you want to talk about something that's really broken, U7 Gohan. U7 Gohan awakens on turn 1 now, instead of turn 2. He puts down, he goes a second, he plays the Gogeta Unison, he slams down a body with the Gogeta, he awakens, let's say he combos, he does some of his shit, he awakens, he swings, he combos again, he draws a card again, like, okay, it's my turn 1 now. I have awakened, I drew 3 cards from my lives, that's 3 already in hand. I think he draws 3. You play the Gogeta, which tutored like for anything that's red from the top of the deck, literally anything that's red. He's a 15k body, he's a 15k beater. You drew twice from your leader effect, so you drew 5, 6 already, and then you bodied something, and if that something draws as well, you just drew 7 on turn 1, and you're already awakened. You're so big that your opponent can't hit you until they awaken, and you have one of the most powerful unisons in the game on the field. That's turn 1 now. And this one is just cute. The Beast Gohan is awful in the game, but I wanted to put him here just to show you that even some bad decks can get like slightly better now. Beast Gohan Z awakens on turn 2 now. Z awakens on turn 2, he becomes a 20k double strike leader. Yes, we have 20k double strike leaders in Masters. And then he just proceeds to apply pressure. And by the way, before he awakens, he draws like 10 goddamn cards. And half of his deck is in his hand now. Because he draws on both sides, he draws when he awakens, he draws when he combos, when something attacks, he draws when he evolves his things. He draws from life twice for awakening, and for Z awakening he takes 4 to hand. Imagine, if you're new to the game, imagine just in 2 turns just taking 4 lives and not only awakening twice and becoming 20k double strike for the rest of the game. Yeah, so these are just some examples of how strong this can be. We will go over a lot more of them this week, because I want to dedicate this week to this rule change. So some are of course better than others. Both Beerus and U7 Gohan are better than Beast Gohan, but you get the general gist. So let's talk about pros and cons. So pros is going second is much better now. Going second isn't an auto lose anymore. Some decks get a buff. Some insane decks get a buff, but some weak ones get it too. Cons is that this will make decks which are good, or like meta, like tier 1, go from that position into insane. Like they'll just flat out become insane because of this. And this will likely break the game. I would not be shocked if we had Energy Marker banned 1 set after it existed. I would not be shocked if it got like banned immediately. Because this is absolutely not healthy for the game. So my conclusion is I hate this rule. Free ramp is banned for a very, very good reason in this game. It's banned for a very good reason. Because 24 sets into the game, we can play such atrocities for free. So, yeah. This rule change, awful. And somehow, the next one is even worse. There is a new Mulligan rule, and yeah, this one is even worse than the energy marker thing. So, old rule, you get to choose which card to keep. You draw 6, you choose, let's say, I'm gonna keep these 2 cards, you shuffle 4 in, and then you draw new 4. Masters has to function this way, and I'll explain why. But let's go over the new rule. New rule is the Fusion World rule, so if you wish to mulligan, you have to mulligan everything. Your entire hand. This is awful. Like, this is probably worse than the energy marker. Let's dive into it. So, why is this so bad? Well, I just took a couple of random leaders, whichever came to my mind. None of these are tier 1. Jiren is close. Anyway, here's some just flat out random examples. I didn't want to go with meta examples. Let's just take something weird. Unlike Fusion World, where this mulligan works because you just play good stuff. You know, you have some light synergy, but you mostly just play good stuff. In Masters, everything has synergy. Flat out everything. That's why we keep cards when we mulligan, because all of our cards require other specific cards to work. So you can't build a deck the way that you would build it in Fusion World, where you would just put a bunch of good cards. Some of them have some synergy, but even if you miss it, it's not a big deal. Jiren, for example, if he misses his Unison in both of the mulligans, he's screwed. He's flat out screwed. Cooler needs to keep like at least 2, maybe 3, depending on the matchup, Unisons in his hand to even draw. To even do his thing and draw. Can't. Hirudegarn, his biggest strength is pay 1 to play a 6 cost. And now you can't mulligan to have a 6 cost in hand anymore. And not only that, you need to set up another Hirudegarn, I believe, kill it, then play 1, then play the 6 drop. Good luck getting that in your mulligan. Baby, I've played a Baby matchup. This was the one that broke me. Baby broke me when I played it. Baby has a card on the field which requires that you put specific cards under it, and you need to have 4 in order to awaken. If you don't see them in your mulligan, your deck flat out bricks. You can't play the game. Your deck just bricks. So yeah. So what are the pros of this? What are the pros of this change? Nothing. Quite literally nothing is positive here. Energy marker at least has something. This is quite literally nothing. And the con is that your decks will brick now. Because once again, for everyone who is new, especially to Masters, cards in Masters depend on extreme synergy. We can't just play random things because then our effects won't happen. We can't... Sequencing is so important. We can't miss on our sequencing, otherwise our decks break. There are decks which will still work around this, like you have the Gogeta that tutors. Every leader that tutors is going to be able to work around this. But good stuff decks, Soul Striker, no problem. But a lot of other decks will just not break. Because we can't get our synergies online anymore, because we can't target cards in hand. Yeah, it sounds like first world problems until you actually sit down to play Masters. And then you see how awful this is. I don't get it. I honestly don't get why. The only positive change is that the Z deck goes from 7 to 10 cards. There's really not much to say here. For those of you who don't know, imagine Z deck like an extra deck, but it contains another leader, battle cards, extra cards, and unisons now, so that's 4 different types of cards, and you have only 7 slots. So 7 to 10 is a perfect solution. I would even bump it higher, but okay. This will make all decks stronger, but the most important thing is that it will make some decks, like the Shitty Janemba deck or the Traumaku deck, much better, because these decks depended on the amount of specific card or specific cards that you can have in the Z deck. And because you can have only 7, you know, you just you get to do your thing a bit and then you don't do anything anymore. So these decks will become much better. This change is amazing. Before we end the video, let's quickly jump into the summary. God damn it, the new rules are awful. Like, they're so bad. Only one of them is good. The other 2, the marker and the mulligan, they will either break the game, that's the marker, or they will just make decks clunkier to play. Now you can argue like, okay, we just need to adjust our approach to deck building, but because our cards are so synergistic, even that's not gonna be enough most of the time. So I hate the mulligan rule more than the energy marker, because that one is just gonna cripple decks. A positive change is, because there is one positive thing, it will make it easier for new players coming into Masters from Fusion World. It will make it easier for you guys, Because now the only thing that you need to know, the only big difference besides Z leaders and unisons, is that we have counters. We can basically, if you're a Fusion World player and you're watching this, we have counters that can just kill a card when it's played, some of them for free, or we can, if you know the situation where your opponent, where you're tapped out and your opponent is swinging into you, we have cards that just for free stop the attack, and most of the time that event isn't considered such a strong effect. So yeah, those are the only ones that Fusion World players will need to learn now. The Z deck change is amazing, and overall I'm really unhappy with this. I'm super concerned. I think that this is gonna be, it's not gonna be the death of the game, but it's gonna do awful things. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below. How pissed are you about these changes? Let's ignore what says under the Geneva. How angry are you about these changes? These changes are goddamn atrocious. Like, this is really bad if you ask me. But anyways, let me know in the comments. I read all of your comments. I try to respond to everything. I love our little community. More Masters content is coming out this week. Guys, please stick with me while I'm working on a schedule, because Fusion World, live streams, event breakdowns for both games and content and stuff, we just need like a week to properly nail it. We're gonna try this time. So guys, that's it. Before you leave, hit those like and subscribe buttons, share the video, and help us get to 5k subs when I'm gonna give away a booster box. This has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.